Hello, all you Bearbarians out there, and welcome to another edition of my show, the Gare Bear Review. As you can clearly see behind me, we're going to go over the reboot of RoboCop. God damn it, I can't talk today. It's been going on all day. But yes, we're going to go over RoboCop. I'm sorry for the delay. I've probably been out for probably a week, so I mean, that's the last time I at least saw you guys. But yes, we're going to go over RoboCop. I gotta say, this is actually the one that got me by my heels, and it pulled me in. This was a very interesting and solid remake for one of the best films in that era. For those who don't know, yes, Peter Weller, a well-known actor, and in 1987 he played the robotic man you see before you, and we've never looked back. We've never gone back to it until now. Sure, there were other robotic characters, but none really measured up to RoboCop. It was a pretty, in my mind, it was a groundbreaking movie. It had certain technologies that we never saw before. It brought back, it brought things from from the distant future that we may have today. Actually, I believe, from if I remember the movie correctly, we do have some of that technology we do that they didn't have in the movie. Now, until present day, ye old 2014, where the technology is way better and remakes of movies never end apparently. When this was first announced, I said to anyone who was listening at that point, there are many films that should and shouldn't be remade, and RoboCop was among those who should not have been remade. But when I watched it, it pulled me in. I gotta say, it's actually a really good template for those looking to do a remake. As someone who watches a lot of films, and there are very few of those types of remakes that actually do work, and this was actually one of them. I was actually very shocked because it's taking over a concept in which the movie was actually well done, not to mention rated R, and it took a PG-13 template and ran with it, and it worked. Jose Paladia, I believe that's how you say it, right, Sherry? Yeah, that's how you say it. Who directed, and Josh Zetemer, who wrote the screenplay, and Edward Newmere, who, yes, indeed did write Starship Troopers, and of course wrote the '87 version, the original version of RoboCop, and its sequel to boot. But they got it right here. It was actually very interesting that they got these guys to be in this film. I was actually purely shocked on how much I enjoyed it. I honestly did. I saw this because the title, it was the title film itself. I love RoboCop. I love the concept alone. The concept alone is great. But then I saw the cast that were here, and I thought, hey, it may work. First you have Batman and Commissioner Gordon, who are going head to head. Especially with Rorschach in Batman's corner. Let me rephrase that. Michael Keaton and Gary Oldman are together as a going against each other, and not to mention you have Abby Cornish and Jack Earl Haley, and Jay Baruchel, as well as the incomparable, the motherfucking asshole of all time, is Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, come on, that alone will get me to the theater and take my seat. Alone. But Joel Kinnaman, who actually plays RoboCop, and I would probably say this is his most likely his breakout role. And if there is a sequel, I haven't heard anything as of yet. But if there is a sequel, he'll be in it. But this is going to be his breakout role, and he'll probably get better things as time goes on. Although he seemed a little bit tall for the role, I don't really. He was. It was like he was like 7 foot, and I like consistency. I don't know if you've actually noticed that in my movie preferences, but I do. I like, if you're doing a remake, I kind of like to see the same height, the same build, the same look of the character as it was in the original. For some reason, he just looked tall. Maybe it was just the CGI or TV or movie magic. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed that way. I don't know why. And maybe it's just me, but he has that look, especially when he's in the suit. He's like super. He looks tall. It looks like he's on stilts a little bit. Which continuity from what I'm hearing is that uh, it's actually kind of cool because the first suit he wears is the original suit, the blue suit. Um, Apparently, according to rumors and things around the internets, that is actually the actual one that Weller wore his version of the film. Now, I don't know what it is. I mean, it did look like it. Maybe they shined it up to make it look nice, but it did look like it, and I'm actually ecstatic that it was that. So I was actually okay with it. Now what? Now what? As a remake, does it? As a remake, it does raise a lot of concerns and questions. Well, there are things that I really hate about this version, especially its PG-13 rating, considering that the original is rated R. So there you go. Uh, the Cybermen, they blow in this version, they blow up his car, and he basically receives the suit because he receives third degree burns, and basically it's from blowing up his car. Now, I don't know about you, but that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, because I've never seen that happen before. I mean, they should have gone with something even worse than that, like maybe a blown limb. I mean, it's pretty fucked up. And personally, I really wish it was rated R. It would have been a lot better. You would have been able to add a lot more better dialogue. But I will give you this though, it was actually cool because the only good thing about it being a PG-13 rating was you get a younger generation involved, and then if your parents have seen it or whatever, their parents will let them see it. I'm hoping, because you definitely should see the original. But in the original, they basically crucify him. The what's his name? Kirkwood from that '70s show, Red Foreman. He plays the bad guy in the original. And he takes a shotgun and basically crucifies Murphy. He shoots his hand, shoots his arm, and blows off both his legs. In this one, third degree burns from a blown up car. You decide which one's better to watch. But yeah, it was actually what I really loved about this film, but the one thing that stood out as the best element of this film besides the CGI, which is actually incredible, by the way, especially in IMAX. In the original, his family wasn't really shown or mentioned a lot. It was only mentioned only a handful of times. Here, the family's actually a big concept of the film. It showed the humanistic elements of the character. They humanized them, and that's what I really loved about Alex Murphy. Because he has a family to care for, which I loved about it. Now, if you are going to see this film, I actually do recommend it. Like I said, it's a really good template as a remake. You may not see it the way I do it. I know I was born in '89. I do love the instant classics from the '80s and '90s. Um, but I do recommend this film for the new generation to watch. It's actually real fun to watch. Uh, Also, what's fun to watch is make sure you guys watch my channel. You can also subscribe, and you can do that in the description below, so you can have fun with there. Next, we are traveling so far off our course because we are going to the great island of Pompeii, or at least of what's left of it. So make sure you guys stay tuned.